Welcome to Chamber Today. In this episode, we'll talk about how being a member of the Chamber of Commerce is really an advantage for your business. We'll also talk about how to be more involved in the community through the Chamber. That's coming up on Chamber Today. Hi, I'm Aaron Stern, a local business owner and a member of the Spanish Fork Area Chamber of Commerce. Today we will focus on your business, specifically on how your business can be better because of the Chamber membership. This could be an eye-opener for you. With me I have Jesse Carden, a past chair of the Chamber's Board of Directors and a member of the Spanish Fork City Council. Hey Jesse, thanks for being with us.
Thanks Aaron, thanks for having me.
Let's also welcome Kathleen Levitt, the President and CEO of the Spanish Fork Area Chamber of Commerce, and Whitney Ferguson, the Director of Administration with the Chamber.
Welcome guys.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we all know, we've all heard the name Chamber of Commerce, but can you explain a little bit more what the Chamber of Commerce is?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a question that I get a lot, actually, is what is the Chamber? And I've thought about it a lot. The Chamber of Commerce is comprised of leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners that really care about the community that we live in. They are passionate about the climate of our commerce here, and they want to make it a better place to live and work. So that's kind of the collection of who is in the Chamber of Commerce. What we do is just that. I mean, it's a wide range of things that we do, but we advocate for businesses. We get business owners together in a room to network with one another so that ideas can flourish and cultivate. We try to help businesses with different problems that they might have through education or workshopping. And we also want to be a voice of the collective to local government and even federal government. If anything comes up, we want to advocate for what our local businesses need and protect them, be an asset for them in the government realm. So it's a wide range, but in a nutshell.
Your 30-second elevator pitch, right? Yeah. Kathleen, Whitney, what would you add to that? Is there anything?
I would say it's a place to meet new friends, to meet people who are in the same situation as maybe you are, people who are starting out businesses or have been in business for a long time, that you can ask suggestions of how to do things better, just friends and mentors that can help you with your growing business.
Gotcha.
I mean, we joined the Chamber, my wife and I, with the boutique about, what I want to say, almost 10, maybe a little over 10 years ago. And then I served on the board for several terms. Well, actually, along with Jesse. That's how I met Jesse. We were both board members representing our respective businesses here in town. And I thought it was a really great way to get involved in the community. And like you mentioned, networking. And also it was a great resource too, because if, like, let's say you need an HVAC person, well, who do I know from the Chamber? So it's a very great way to gain resources in the community and help out your fellow board members and community business.
Right. Well, and look at you, 10 years later, you're co-hosting a television show together.
It's fun.
I've seen your roles have changed probably since 10 years ago, but here you are because of that connection that you guys made way back when.
Yeah, and it's the love of the community and the business community that really drives us, I think.
Yeah, and so with the business, I don't know, intertwinement, right? Like, how do you, or I guess for our viewers, I should not ask it like if I don't know. Tell us a little bit about the organization of the Chamber. How is it organized? What are the layers of the Chamber?
Yeah, this was also something that I had to learn for myself after taking over this role was, a board of directors, what a board does. So we are technically, I'm the president and CEO, and she's my director, but we take guidance from our members. We want to be as flexible as possible so that we can move with the times and adjust to what the business climate needs and what our business owners need. And how we decide where best to do that is we rely on our membership to kind of know where we want to go and where we need to improve. So in order to do that, we have 300 members now in our chamber, which is amazing. And obviously, listening to 300 individual voices is hard. And so the board of directors is kind of a sample of all of the members they kind of represent for the 300. We have 17 board members, and they kind of help to be the voice of the collective to guide us on where to go.
So what do those board members do?
Yeah.
Like what, is there a specific role that they have? Is it a specific function? Like what do they do?
Yeah, so we've got the general board of directors, which is the 17. Of those 17, we have the executive board of directors. So we have a chairman and a vice chairman. And the executive board is the liaison between the office administration and the board of directors. And so we have a monthly board meeting that we convene, and we kind of discuss what is going on, what's going on, you know, in the chamber and also in the outside realms. We have city representatives there to kind of guide us on what's, you know, going on and how that affects us as business owners. And then the executive board kind of helps take what we decide in board meeting and make sure that that is implemented until we reconvene again. You know, kind
There's
of.
also representatives from various civic organizations and school district as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We try to make sure that we are being cognizant of everything that's going on that could potentially be affecting the business owners, the climate of commerce, you know, and make sure that we're abreast of what's going on to be able to advocate effectively.
Right. Before we move on from this, if someone wants to be or is interested in running for the board, when do you guys hold elections, and then when or what does that time commitment look like?
Yeah, so the board of directors is a 2-year commitment, and we hold elections in September.
Right. And then weekly, is it a couple hours?
Okay, yeah, so we have the monthly meeting, that's an hour, and then depending on how involved you want to get, we have committees now, and we meet
Awesome.
usually on a monthly basis at least. We have event committees
couple
and stuff.
hours.
So a couple, about maybe 1 hour a week, I would
Okay,
say,
cool.
unless you want to go all in, and that's welcomed. But
Perfect.
you know, there's no obligation to do that.
For some people that were watching, maybe interested and just have never known, because they're like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into.
Exactly,
So
yes,
yeah.
definitely.
It's a great opportunity. I mean, if you have any desire to serve, especially in being involved with the business community,
Yes.
I say go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the board's a great way to get involved.
It's a great way to kind of elevate your leadership, you know, and,
Right.
and I always tell people it's a great way to demonstrate to people what you
Right.
what you're capable of, because being, you know, just a chamber member is wonderful, and we love
Yeah.
that. But you know, taking that extra step you get to, you know, it's kind of a showcasing of what you're capable of, and people
Right.
like to do business with people that are strong leaders and people that
Yeah.
they can trust and people that they're, you know, they're aware of, and so it's a great way to raise awareness of you and what you're capable of.
So maybe a slightly different take on that, right? If a business, like, so I think of maybe you, Aaron, right? There was a time where you were very involved in the board.
Yes.
And then there's times where you were like, hey, I have to back off a little
Sure,
bit.
for sure.
But Whitney, can you tell us about some times or how businesses can get involved? Like they're not, hey, I don't want to do leadership, but I want to be involved in the Chamber of Commerce. How do businesses get involved?
Okay, we have plenty of different opportunities. We just finished the Easter egg hunt, which is huge.
big one.
Right.
And is put on by the Chamber of Commerce. We had field sponsors that they could get involved. We had basket sponsors, which is a little less. You don't have to show up that day. We had flyers that people were able to hand out. We had things going on for the kids to do. We had the princesses there, that was a sponsored thing. We have monthly new networking luncheons where they can come, they can network, they can share their ideas with other people, but they don't have to come and put in that time unless they want to.
Right.
The new networking is a great opportunity because it's like a one and done kind of thing.
Yes.
Where it's not a reoccurring
Yeah.
commitment of time.
And it's almost like that opportunity where you get to have that face-to-face, where if I'm an HVAC company,
Right.
hey, I have my logo on my shirt or whatever it is, or I have literature I'm giving out, and it's
Yeah.
when I need it, I have that name at the front of my mind, right? Because I've
Right.
just met them or I've just talked to them, so on and so forth. And I think that's a lot of how that networking happens. Is it's not, hey, I need it today. It's, hey, I need it in 6 months.
Right.
Who was it that I talked to?
Yes.
Oh, great! Like that's a
Yes.
good opportunity.
Yeah.
And
So-
it's a great place to practice your networking because everybody, there's a friendship there, and it's an opportunity for people to learn how to talk to other people and sell themselves, and to sit at different tables every month and not sit with the same people you feel
Right.
comfortable with.
Yeah, put yourself out of your comfort zone,
Yes.
right?
Back
Yes.
to what you said about the logo recognition, you know, I think that is where the value of sponsorships and involvement really lies, is because it's a very unconscious experience, the buying experience for a consumer. And so even though we don't need auto mechanic work right now, or we don't need, you know, an HVAC company right now, if we see that logo subliminally, we're gaining trust in that business. And so when I do find myself in a situation where I need HVAC,
Right.
it's almost a guarantee that I'm going to go with the one that I have seen before,
Right.
you know?
Absolutely.
And honestly, it's not a conscious choice. And so that's where the beauty lies
Right.
in being involved and having the multiple areas that they're able to see your logo and your brand,
Yeah.
because it raises your chances of closing that sale by droves.
Right.
I was going to say, I mean, we've talked a lot about marketing your business, but one thing that I thought was really great about the Chamber and still is the resources. So whether it be an organized event where you learn a new skill, you know, marketing, things like that, it also allows you to network, like you said, with people who have a skill set. So somebody like, if you're having an obstacle within your business and you have a fellow Chamber member who has the same type of business, you don't feel shy in calling them and saying, hey, you know, I'm having this issue. What do you
Yes.
do in this situation?
I think that was one of the things that was amazing to me is when I joined the Chamber, whenever that was, you know, almost a decade ago,
Yeah.
is that the amount of chiropractors we had at the time,
Yeah, we did
right?
have a lot, yeah.
Right, we had a lot, but the synergy that they had together
Yeah.
was amazing because it wasn't as if it was competition. Yes, they're competing, right?
Yeah.
But they were working together on, hey, what are you doing to
Yeah.
retain employees? What are you doing to attract people? Are you doing some
Yeah.
different marketing? Because there becomes that synergy. I think we talked
Yeah.
about that, hey, let's work together because we all want to be successful. And
Right.
competition actually makes us better, right?
Yes.
It does.
I have a funny story about that because when we were going through some of our early growth phases with the boutique, I went to a local bank here in town and said, hey, you know, we need an SBA loan to help us grow a little bit. And you know what they told me? We're not going to give you a loan because Walmart's coming. They're going to put you out of business. And I said, are you kidding me? I said, if anything, the growth of the businesses in town drive more people to our community to shop. So, you know, the more businesses, the more, you know, women's clothing stores, the more boutiques we can have, the more it'll become a destination for people wanting those goods, and they're going to come. And, and another bank gave us a loan, and we grew.
Here you are.
You know? So, I won't name names, but yeah.
So one of the things is, like, you know, we talk about the networking, we talk about some of these different things, but a lot of the Chamber events, especially the things that we host, we talk about the Easter egg hunt, we talk about Winter Lights Parade, we talk about, well, the Business Summit might be a little bit different, but helping with the Harvest Moon Hurrah, those things are service,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
That's service to the community.
Yes.
Why would a business care about doing service? Like, let's talk about that for a second.
Right, sure. So there's lots and lots of benefits to service. It's like a human need, like psychologically. You're 22% likely to extend the length of your life if you actively participate in service. Did you know
Gotcha.
that?
That's
22%, like to extend your life,
I
so
could use that.
you could live longer. So that's one bonus.
Yeah.
And then also your quality of life when you serve, it gets dramatically better. The rates of depression and anxiety are dramatically reduced. They're just starting to study it right now, actually. The scientifically psychological effects that come out of volunteer and service.
Right.
But it enhances your quality of life. You feel like you are contributing to something greater than yourself, and you're leaving a legacy. You know, you're using what you have to raise the collective where you live. I actually wrote this quote down because I wanted to share it. So, volunteering is the ultimate act of democracy. You vote in elections once a year, but when you volunteer, you vote every day about the kind of community you want to live in.
Gotcha. That's
I
awesome.
thought that was amazing.
That is awesome. Who is that by?
It's an unknown
Unknown,
person.
okay.
I know, right? So, Jesse Cardin.
There we go.
Very wise.
So service is, like I said, a big part of it. The Chamber gives a lot of benefits, and as when I was running the company, or the Plasma Center here in the area, I took advantage of a lot of the benefits, and I'd always be told by Heather at the time, nobody ever takes advantage of that benefit. One of those benefits for me was the Chamber magazine, right? But what benefits have you seen really impact businesses? But on that flip side, what benefits do people not know about or they don't take advantage of? You're like, hey, this is there just waiting for everyone to take advantage of.
Right, yeah. I'll let you start.
I feel like the gala or the party we have at the beginning of the year, for the upper levels, they have the opportunity to come for free to interact with each other, and it's a good opportunity for everyone to just celebrate what they've done and grown and seen in the year. I also feel like people don't take advantage of the new networking. It's like $12 to come, and it's not that you're paying for the food, it's you're paying for this opportunity to get your name out there, to get your contacts, to make friends, and like you said.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've heard them all say it's like a gym membership. You join, but what you use is what you get out of it.
Right.
Gotcha.
I think also, the ribbon cuttings and our business
Oh,
of
yeah.
the month, we have the new networking every month that's structured for networking, but the ribbon cuttings and business of the month, we're growing so fast, we're seeing a lot of ribbon cutting ceremonies.
Yeah.
In fact, we have 4 this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
But those are great ways that you can show up, and it's a small increment of time. You can come just for a half an hour, be part of that celebration, show your
Yeah.
support. And the more times the people see you, they gain trust in your business. They
Right.
become interested in what you're doing. So you really don't have to do a lot besides show up and say hi. And people start to become interested in you and what you're doing. And so I would say just consistently showing up, following our social media and our newsletters to find out when those are happening, and just stop by for
Right.
a short amount of time. I
Right.
think that is a great way to
Yeah.
get involved without high
Yeah.
high risk or whatever you want to call
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Letting
the
us-
show itself.
Yes,
Yeah.
the show.
As a chamber member, you have the opportunity to come on and,
Yes, you
and
do.
chat about whatever it is you do.
Right.
And yeah.
Well, I think about when, again, and I'll use my experience because that's what I have. When you started Chamber today,
Yeah.
the first version or whatever we want to
Yeah,
call
yeah.
the old version is,
Yeah.
I was asked to come on. And you're like, hey, we have a hard time getting people on here.
We did, yeah.
And
We
for
still
me,
do.
what I was doing, I'm just trying to let people know what we're doing. Plasma donation has
Yeah.
different stigmas to it, and so it was more of, hey, let's talk about what this means, what it brings to the community, and then that kept going. And I think we even did some business to business marketing where
Yes.
you offered a discount to
Yes.
the plasma donors that
Yes.
hey, you bring in your card,
Yep.
you get a discount. And
Yep.
so I don't think that those type of interactions happen as naturally. They probably happen, but not in the same synergy or the same way if we're not attending chamber
Right.
events, chamber different things. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I want to ask, and this one's it's a little curveball.
Okay.
So what do you think what is a chamber benefit that you're like, we're working on that we want to try, or that we hear people wanting and we're trying to figure out a way to make it happen?
Okay. I would say, it's twofold. So networking, people want more networking.
Gotcha.
And so educating them on taking advantage of the networking that we have, as well as finding more opportunities to network in different ways. I would say that's something that we're working on, as well as education. We have workshops in
Yeah.
development, and that kind of is twofold because it offers networking, but also that education element.
Like the summit we have in the fall.
Like the
Yeah.
summit that we
Yep.
have in
Yeah.
the fall, trying
Yeah.
to find ways to make that inspirational,
Yeah.
to fire people up but then also develop their business in the ways that they need. So right now we're in kind of collection mode to find out what are those topics this year that people really need to know. And we're going in the route of employee retention, and so, because that's a big need people have, finding quality employees
Yeah.
and then retaining them when they have them.
Yeah.
And sometimes not on a budget that can compete with some of the Adobes and the Facebooks and things like that we've got moving into the area. So how do small businesses compete with that?
Right.
So that's kind of where we're looking at to try to educate, and so my job is to go find those resources, bring them
Right.
in to be able to supply that demand.
So how do you go about finding out that information? So you're saying, hey, this is what I'm hearing from the business community. Is that solicited? Is that unsolicited? How are you finding out what the business community needs?
Yeah, so we do surveys, but most of it is kind of like post checking in with the members. I do a lot of that one-to-one or at networking meetings, and just inquire, like ask, stay open-minded, and be like, how did you like this? What do you not like? And I think we're working really hard on creating a very safe space for our members to bring forth that information. We try to have a very open egoless, open door egoless
Yeah.
policy. So it's like, if we're not meeting the needs that you have, then please let us know. We used to do this in an exit interview, but we're trying to be, over ahead of that now.
Right.
And so checking in with people, being like, how are you enjoying your chamber membership? What would you like to see? I ask every new member when they join, what did you join for? What are the needs that you have? And I want to get away from this, oh, I joined just because I should. You know, I opened a business, and the next step is to join
For the insurance
Chamber of Commerce.
discount.
For the insurance discount.
The ribbon
You
cutting.
mentioned like the gym. I mean, you don't exercise by sitting at home with a gym membership in your pocket.
Right.
You have to utilize it.
Yes.
Right.
And I
yes.
think at least back when I was on the board, we found that the people who left were the ones that really weren't involved.
Yeah.
Like you said, they would join maybe for the ribbon cutting and
Yep.
the cake, and then the next
then
year
the
would
next
come,
year.
they would come and go.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
So you really do need to be involved, and I
Yep.
think the more you get involved, the more you see the value.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there a business that you can point to that you said, hey, they've done what we're talking about. They've got involved. They've talked to us. They've had those conversations, and you've seen them grow because of it. Do you have any examples of those?
You want to take that one?
For me, I think it would be Fellas Chop Shop. Okay. They come to things, they participate, they bring the swag to give away at the new networkings, but they've also turned around and used those skills to offer free haircuts, to do service. They're very service oriented, and you've just seen them grow leaps and bounds and open throughout the county.
Well, and their owner reached out to us recently. She just recently opened a few locations, and she was like, we're seeing a decline with the recession coming. We're seeing a decline in people wanting, high quality haircuts. So she reached out to us and was like, do you have any ideas on how we can market, how we can, and we are already, we're together thinking about ideas. An event center just opened up right next door. And we were
Yeah.
like, what if you collaborated with them
Sure.
and offered like a groomsman discount, or, if you're involved in the wedding, here's a discount, or if you're involved in the event, and it's right next door, so they don't even have to close their shop to kind
Right.
of work on that collaboration and things like that. So that's what we hope that we're here for, is for you to bring us your even individual concerns, and we know who's in the chamber, we know what's happening in the community, so then we can kind of give you these ideas,
Right.
whether you take them or not. We can't,
Yeah.
Right.
we can't help with
Yeah.
that.
Right.
But we try to be that resource of opportunity.
Right, and I think of another example right there with Fellas is Tabitha's Way, right?
Yeah.
Tabitha's Way being a nonprofit coming into a community, trying to really grow, and now we've seen them flourish, and where they're a pivotal part both from the service that they bring, but also that business acumen that Wendy and her team bring to the
Yes.
chamber, and just really helping it. And so I think there's lots of examples of
Yes.
businesses that
And
have,
businesses that now go to Tabitha's with their employees and have that opportunity
Right.
to serve,
Right.
and it bonds their business together, but serving another business in the community.
I would inject here that I think that's one of the benefits, it's an unspoken benefit of being involved with the Chamber of Commerce, is that visibility. So the Chamber is a kind of a collective resource that people know they can come to be like, who is in need in the community? Where can we
Right.
donate? Who can we collaborate with? And so being involved with the Chamber gives you that element of exposure. If you're not involved, then we don't know you exist.
Right.
Right.
And so, we can help, you have to help yourself before we can help you. But if you take that extra step to get involved with the Chamber and join, then we know you're on our radar, and we can help to steer those
Right.
resources in your direction.
if you were to give us a one sentence statement, and I'm going to ask you each to do this, why should someone join the chamber?
One sentence.
Oh.
Oh man, there's so many. I would say invest in yourself, invest in your business. I think
Perfect.
joining the Chamber is an investment in yourself and your success.
Okay, perfect.
And I'd say to give back to the community that you want to support you.
Perfect. Thank you. That's awesome. That's a great way to just kind of wrap it all up and just say, hey, like the chamber is something that can really benefit both the business and the community, and so it's important that we have a thriving chamber in our community. So thank you.
Yeah.
It was a fun discussion. I mean, we all have the same passion for it. So we could sit here and talk for hours.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. Cool. Thanks to Kathleen, Whitney, and Jesse. We'll be right back with more Chamber Today. Welcome back to Chamber Today. We've had several new businesses open and join our chamber. Let's watch some of the highlights from those ribbon cuttings.
Welcome to Food Barn, the newest member of the Chamber of Commerce.
tell us a little bit about the history of Boot Barn and maybe some of the products that you guys sell.
Boot Barn's been around a really long time. They've gone through a little bit of a makeover transformation in the last few years. Got bought into a different company that said this could be bigger than we thought it was. And now I would say it's definitely one of the fastest growing retail businesses out there with big goals to be everywhere. As far as what we offer, don't take it face value. Boot Barn is, as you can see behind us, a whole lot more than just boots. We are the #1 Western retailer in the United States, which, I don't know, in my books, that probably means in the world as well.
We really do appreciate everyone being here today. About just under 7 years ago, it'll be 7 years in August, we set out in Utah to accomplish 40 sites in Utah. We put together a plan, we worked, did a lot of groundwork and everything, get all ready, and then we went for it. And we opened our first location in Spanish Fork across from Costco. And I think everyone here probably shops at Costco for sure, and so you probably noticed that location. What's crazy is about a year ago we rebuilt it because we couldn't handle the capacity and needed to make a few changes. And now here we are today, opening our 48th Utah location, and it's here in Spanish Fork.
As we conclude this episode of Chamber Today, we want to thank the leadership of the Chamber of Commerce, Spanish Fork City, and Spanish Fork 17 for their support. We look forward to being with you again on the new edition of Chamber Today. Thanks for watching and supporting our local businesses. Remember to shop local.